Hello, it's Ren Presents time. I'm your host, Ren, and today we continue with the House of Bloodstein, Mentralysis, Part 2, Chapter 13, A Bag of Shadowtech. And this is one of my personal favorite chapters in the book. I had written it out of order when I was writing this book. I had written it well in advance and didn't really know when or how to use it in the book, how to construct it into the story. I'm like, well, that'll work itself out in time. I've got a cool idea, and I'm gonna get it down. I never write anything down. I don't take notes. Usually when I have an idea, it stays in my head. But this one I really liked. I'm like, okay, I need to get this in. I don't want to lose any of the details in my thoughts. And then where to put it will work itself out. Well, it did work itself out. If you recall from last week, Kay finally realized the point of all these escapades with the legendary Queen Gome of Tremble, where the queen is after the machine, the Oberphiliacs, the great eminence sitting in their grove. And he should have known that having such a rare and powerful device would attract a lot of attention one way or the other, even though they're all mums the word. They all took a pinky swear, and we're not going to talk about this machine. We're not going to use this machine. Well, when the first time things got hot and they needed a quick solution, they did use the machine to fetch the dead man from Mare without having to actually go to Mare, where they would probably all get killed. And Queen Gome was watching. She's like, we're going to see if these simps use their machine. And sure enough, they did. And that proved to her that they had it. Now she's got it, and they don't want her to have it, because it's probably not a good idea to let a raving sociopath have such a powerful device. But Kay, using his dark sight, checking out the ins and outs of the near future, saw some bad things are about to go down on Baz. At the Jones, even though the Jones don't know exactly where they are, they know they're on Baz, and they are coming for them. Kay saw in the better part of an hour that the shit's gonna start happening in droves. One, they're gonna lock out the Baznet, and Sarah's holographic presence will be put to an end, so therefore it'll just be Kay and Leica up against a whole army of Jones, and we know how well that worked out the first time. Kay also sees his gifts getting swamped out again by the now dreaded Horvath Creeper, and he's not too thrilled about that. So it's just gonna be two people, one compromised, against a whole army, and he needs help. And this chapter is where the help is gonna come from. We'll see how all these characters connect. I usually don't introduce characters and not make maximum use out of them. So I have cool characters I introduced in the previous book, and there were some dangly threads. And in this chapter, I am going to implement those threads and tie them up. If you recall, Wilhela Corman Grand, the Mad Black Hat of Wham, left Kay her business card, and it crawled up into his vest pocket and fused there like a piece of wadded up chewing gum that had gone through the wash. It's not coming out. He tried getting it out and it wouldn't. And mystically, the card would follow him from vest to vest. So if he ever dared need her card would be available. Unfortunately, Kay probably has a need. He knows shit's gonna get real. He knows they don't stand much of a chance just by themselves, and they need an edge. And that edge is Shadowtech. So, Part 2, Chapter 13, A Bag of Shadowtech. A much shorter chapter than last time. Thank God. So here we go. Kay entered. The room was small and neat, lacy in the Baz style. A bed in the corner with an iron-wrought headboard, a footlocker, a desk, and a simple holo terminal flickering with the end's header. He settled in front of the holo terminal and hit the keys, trying to get a connection. It was locked. "Sarah, I need a line out," he called. She stuck her holographic head in, appearing through the wall like a ghost. "What are you doing?" "Something I really don't want to." Kay reached into his coat pocket. Sitting there was the card Wilhella Corman Grand had given them at Castle Bloodstein, inviting them to her top-of-the-universe restaurant in Wham. He had tried to get rid of it numerous times, but the card was stuck in his pocket like a comb of sticky honey, refusing to come out. Now, with his need great, it came out easily, black and ominous in his hand. She had said it was some sort of whammock. Just hold it up near any active terminal, and it would seek her out. Sarah's eyes widened. "Creation! You're trying to contact Wilhella Corman Grand. Are you insane? The woman tried to kill the lot of us." Who hasn't lately? Things are going to come crashing down, and we're going to need all the help we can get. Do it, Sarah. Give me a line. Don't worry about being sly about it. The Jones are going to have us out of here before long anyway. Sarah moved through the wall and stood near him. "Okay, you got it." He held the card near the flickering terminal screen. The card jumped out of his hand and dove into the terminal. The data reacted and smeared about the screen in a vivid spray of colors. The psychedelic dance continued for several minutes. Sarah watched with morbid fascination. Leica re-entered, wearing her armor and boots. She also had her cloth bag from Carahill's store tied to her belt. "Leica ready, Jarl Khan," she said. "Good. Sit down, will ya?" Sarah said. "Kay's about to do something really dumb." The bed groaned with protesting springs and straining slats as Leica got into it and curled up on her side facing the wall, her hips and ribcage rising up over the valley of her narrow waist. "Leica here to protect Jarl Khan," she said from the bed, her voice groggy with sleep. "Well, I feel safe now," Sarah said as Leica began snoring a few moments later. The signal went out, passing through light years of empty space. "Please wait," printed out on the cone in utilitarian Basnet script. Kay sat there waiting for the connection to firm up. Connect. The screen went dark to smoky black. Something jostled in the darkness, and he smelled rich menthol tobacco drifting out of the terminal. "Whammocks. Wow," Sarah said. "There's a lot of power in this feed." Shadowtech formed in front of them. A sarcastic voice crawled out of the screen. "Well, look who it is. Lord Blanchford." On the swirling black cone, the mouth of Wilhella Corman Grand appeared. Tapered feminine lips and a row of white, surprisingly well cared for teeth. Kay couldn't see the rest of her, only her mouth and teeth floating. "How sweet. One time is never enough, is it?" she purred as the mouth detached from the cone and drifted in midair in front of Kay. It noticed Sarah with disgust. "What is this primitive automaton?" "Primitive?" Sarah cried. "My cousin is here via remote, in case you attempt to attack," Kay said. The mouth looked reproachful. "Attack? You called me, remember? I'll just cut the line now and be on my way. Bye-bye." "Wait!" Kay cried, standing. "I must treat with you." Wilhella's mouth was triumphant. "Then get rid of the automaton. It's fouling my connection." "Like hell!" Sarah cried. Kay calmed Sarah. "Sarah, go ahead and monitor for Jones' activity. I'll be fine." "All right. Don't do anything stupid." "Might be a little late for that." Giving the mouth a dirty look, Sarah exited the room. The mouse smiled in an evil fashion. "Now then, you couldn't get enough of me the first time, I see. I have no particular interest in you or your tawdry games. I contacted you for a specific point of business." The mouth frowned. No, my love," it chided. "You should understand me better by now. You want something? You come and see me in Wham Core. I've our usual table set aside. I insist. Imagine the postings. Wilhella Corman Grand, the mad Black Hat of Wham, and the Queen of Gothen versus Lord Cable of Blanchford in Vernon. Who shall be victorious, I wonder? It shall make for smashing reading. Kay swiped at the mouth, and it fluttered about like a giant fly evading a swatter. I demand that you listen to me, Black Hat. The mouth darted away and tittered in delight. Kay unsaddled his carg and ran the horn through its open lips. Wilhella's whammick mouth, like a ring on a lance, hovered for a moment, and then latched onto the shaft of the carg, as if performing a sex act upon it. This was not working. Kay was playing into Wilhella's eternal need for attention. He decided to change his tactics. It appears you are incapable of entertaining a promising business offer, and therefore are not worth my time. I think I'll contact Genemax of Wham instead. The mouth was appalled. Genemax? What can that sniveling slut do that Wilhella Corman Grand cannot? Much, apparently. And I intend to let League Society know what an incompetent buffoon you are. When I'm done with you, your name shall be a laughingstock here in the League. That seemed to get her attention. Many have died for less, the mouth said. Truth be told, seems I survived your previous attentions with ease. I've had much sharper knives at my throat. Leica, it seems I've wasted my time with this bore. Bore? The mouth grew large and pulled back into a straight annoyed line. It got into Kay's face. I have been called many things, but certainly never a bore. Come to me and Wham, and we shall see how bored you are. I've plenty of entertainments in mind for you. I told you I'm not coming to Wham. Then name your game and we shall play. Would you care to quest for my pieces again? I have them all re-hidden, just waiting for a brave soul to fetch them. We'll play the helping game. I need your help. The mouth became quizzical and then gave a wry, wicked smile. My help? I see. And what can I do for you? I need a favor. A favor? It cried with a sour note. Not in 400 years have I granted a favor to an Invernan, or anyone else for that matter. I do believe I admire your idiocy and raw nerve. Go on, ask your favor. I need Shadowtech. Shadowtech? Is that all? Yes, I need it. Will you offer some up? Wilhella considered it for a moment. What do you need Shadowtech for? Kay decided to hit her with the truth. I am surrounded, outgunned, soon to be denied use of my gifts, facing an ancient enemy. The people are entranced, and a terrible storm is soon to blow in. The mouth pulled back in thought. Really? Sounds most distressing. He must be facing a Geller of particularly evil notes. Well then, I never give anything away for free, Lord Blanchford. That should be obvious. What will you give me in return for this favor, for saving you from the horrors to come with my Shadowtech? I have money, as much as you want. Wilhella's mouth didn't bother to reply. Money? What was money to her, it seemed to imply. I can rescue you from the Black Abbess clutch. I can free you. A wicked laugh from the mouth. But I like being a black hat. Kay sighed. He had hoped to avoid this, but Wilhella didn't appear to be budging, and the usual enticements didn't interest her. I will pledge you my carg. The mouth curled into a wicked smile. Yes! Now you're bargaining, Lord Blanchford. Imagine a brave fifth lord from the League standing at my whim. My, that does sound attractive to me. Kay protested. I shall not be at your whim, ma'am. I shall assist you once and once only, and at a time of my choosing. The mouth compressed down to a stubborn pucker. Then we have no deal, sir. Your death awaits. The negotiation was on in earnest. Now he had an item to barter with that Wilhella wanted. It was merely a matter of terms and length of service. He recalled sitting in on his mother, Countess Sigillis, negotiating a lucrative fabric deal with a group of merchants from HOBM. It went on for hours with all sorts of threats and sore feelings mixed in between, though in his case, it wasn't fabric he was bartering with, but his very freedom, and possibly his soul. He glanced at Sam's doll at the head of the bed and began, As you will be offering me one favor, I shall assist you once. That's fair. The mouth was resolute. Once is not enough. He became angry. I need your Shadowtech. The mouth wasn't budging. Once is not enough. You can rot there on Baz for all I care. From the bed, Leica snored quietly. Kay thought it over. Very well. For one favor, I shall pledge you my services for 1 month. 1 month? The mouth asked. What is 1 month? I ought to be insulted. I ought to cut this feed and let your enemies have at you. No, no. I shall require your absolute services before me for 10 years, as measured on Wham, and not a day less. Kay disagreed. 10 years is ridiculous. 1 year on Wham equals at least 3 on Cana. From the bed, Leica mumbled. 3 years, 104 days. Yes, thank you, Leica. That means I would be under your boot for well over 30 years. Unacceptable, and I refuse. 1 favor, 1 year, Canaan. I shall need at least 5 years, Canaan, and I shan't go a day less. Kay wasn't finished bargaining. We shall have half a year, Gothan. That's 1.5 years, Canaan, and that is the most I shall go. The mouth became perturbed. Sir, I am not a vendor on the street selling fruits and sundries. How dare you haggle with me? My will is absolute. 1 year, Gothan, 3 years, Canaan, Kay replied. And for that 3 years of service, I shall need at least 3 Shadowtech uses. The mouth considered that and weighed the possibilities. 3 years, Canaan, for 3 uses of Shadowtech. And your service to commence at a time of my choosing. Kay sighed. Done. Ah, done. The mouse slid down the length of his carg in a greasy fashion and detached itself. Let us seal the terms of the deal with a kiss. Kay tried to pull away, but the mouth followed him. I insist. The mouth came down and gave Kay a long, noisy kiss. See, that wasn't so bad, was it? Oh, to think what shall be said in Wham when it is discovered that I, Will Helicorman Grand, have the absolute services of a 5th League Lord for 1 Gothan year. Oh, what shall I do with you? If there are certain I'll think of something. Kay had just pledged 3 years of his life in the service of a diabolical black hat from Wham. What would he be compelled to do? What would he become? However, Sam could be saved and the machine recovered. It would be a small price to pay. I have given you my pledge in exchange for 3 uses of your Shadowtech, and my word is my bond. However, allow me to make one thing perfectly plain to you, Kay said. If you attempt any treachery, if you cheat me, then I shall come to Wham specifically for you. Is that a fact? Yes, indeed, and you know who I am. You know what I can do to you. I will take control of your soul and do what you probably fear most. And what is that? I will break the Black Abyss's clutch and drag you off far from the bright lights and familiar bustle of Wham, and compel you to live the remainder of your days in quiet, unremarkable oblivion, with not a word said or a byline written. They might ask in Wham, what happened to the mad black hat Wilhela Corman Grand? What has become of her? And the reply shall be, we don't know. We've not heard from her in years. That will be my fate for you. The mouth considered that. A clever cruelty, Lord Blanchford. Very well. You wish to have Shadowtech at your command, and I shall deliver. Soon, a sinister, slightly smoking bag made of ashy felt fell from the monitor and sat before Kay on the desk. An embroidered message on the bag read in lurid red threads, to my favorite slave. Kay picked up the bag. 2 black medallions clattered out, shaped like smiling mouths. To protect you and your high-tat dog, the mouse said. Shadowtech is very toxic, yes. Wemmick Shadowtech doubly so. Kay took one of the medallions and put it on. Inside the swirling, misty interior of the bag were a number of tiny black kernels. What are these? Kay asked. It's Shadowtech, as you requested. Throw the bag down and you will have protection, the mouse said. Careful. You have 3 uses, and that is all. Wilhella's mouth was quizzical for a moment. Do not be shy in your use of my Shadowtech. Be imaginative. Be bold. I cannot have my slave killed. That would not do at all. And, by the by, death is no release from your service to me. With that, the mouth faded away. Be safe, my slave. Be safe, for I shall soon be calling on you, and we shall make history together. Kay stared at the smoking bag. The bed squeaked, and Leica stirred. She got off the bed and crawled to Kay's side. The bag is evil, she said, staring at it. Yes, it is, Kay replied. And with that, we conclude Part 2, Chapter 13, A Bag of Shadowtech, much shorter chapter than last week, as I promised. So, after a brief negotiation, Kay and the Mad Black Hat of Wham, Wilhella Corman Grand, came to an agreement. 3 uses of Shadowtech for 3 years of Kay's life at her service, doing whatever she wants. At the time, I had no idea what that service would be, but I'm currently working on the manuscript called The Woman Behind the Wall, where we find out what happens in the aftermath and what Kay is forced to do, and it's not pretty at all. As I mentioned, Kay and Leica are going to be heavily outgunned, outflanked, all by themselves. Sarah is going to be unavailable to them. With Shadowtech, though, they've got a fighting chance. Shadowtech is the equalizer. Shadowtech can do almost anything you want it to do. It just depends on your imagination, the force of your will. Wilhella Corman Grand invented a form of Shadowtech called Whammick, and it's one that she can send to people via Wi-Fi, basically. It's not Wi-Fi, but it accomplishes the same thing. You can get an email, like a junk email, and you open it up, and there's a Whammick monster hiding inside that jumps out of your screen and tries to kill you, or whatever it's programmed to do. Whammicks are very potent, very dangerous. The sisters have to spend a lot of resources combating Whammicks, but in this case, Whammick, it might just save the day, might just help Kay and Leica get through the horrors that are to come. Wilhella Corman Grand's always been one of my favorite characters. She's one of the more burlesque ones out there, uninhibitedly unabashed, body in the extreme, pretty over the top, and pretty dangerous as well. And initially, the negotiation between the two lasted a lot longer than what it was here. There was a lot more negotiating, a lot more vitriol back and forth, but I thought, this is too much of a good thing. You got to be able to view your own work with sort of a helicopter eye and know, okay, this is going too long. It's slowing the story down. You're going to lose people. You're going to have, even though you like the extended back and forth banter, you got to find a happy medium. So I had to chop it way down. I think it ended up at a good length. It gets the point across and so forth. So now Kay has his bag of Shadowtech, and there's a noose around his throat that will tighten at some point in the future. We will see what happens as the night unfolds, and we next week, same time, same channel, we will go through the final chapter in Part 2. 1 part left to go. Part 2, Chapter 14, and the Night of Dead Birds. That doesn't sound pleasant, does it? We will see what happens with Kay and Leica and his bag of Shadowtech and what he does with it to try to even the odds against the Jones. Until then, this is Ren Presents. I am your host, Ren. Peace out.